Welcome to a new edition of the Famous Interviews with Joe Dimino. On this episode, we talk with writer, bilingual author, illustrator, and media professor Karl Beckstrand. He is the best-selling author and illustrator of 27 multicultural, multilingual books. Raised in San Jose, California, he has lived abroad. Since 2004, he has run Premio Publishing, which boasts 200 multicultural offerings. Having been raised in cosmopolitan Silicon Valley and having lived abroad, he has worked with people from all over the world, and he has the stories to back it up. Enjoy this interview.
Thank you for taking a minute out today.
Sure thing.
So before we hop into your life and what you do and what kind of motivates you, I'm curious how you survived the last couple of years with COVID, how you got through that time period, and how it subsequently changed the way that not only you live, but the way that you conduct business.
Actually, I may have been the least affected person on the planet by COVID because I work at home. I'm a writer, and so I just went about my business, just kept writing.
And I know that, you know, you're a bilingual author, illustrator, media professor, but if we wanted to boil down exactly what you do for a living with these different capacities, I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of third graders at a career day, and one of the kids looks up at you and says, "What do you do for a living?" How would you answer them?
I'm a writer. Yeah, so I create content for the web. I've done a lot of scripts and screenplays, but primarily now I focus on books for all genres, all ages.
So when you were in the third grade, what did you want to do when you grew up? What was your dream?
Oh, I started, I think, with a doctor, and then an architect, and then a rock star. So I was all over the place.
Well, and it looks like things have worked out pretty well. Are you happy with how everything turned out?
Oh, yeah, I am. I feel like this is my mission in life.
So let's go back to your childhood a little bit more. Talk to me a little bit about where you were born and raised. You know, we all have these seeds that are planted in us when we are younger. And how did these seeds get planted in you to become a writer, to become who you are today?
Well, it's kind of ironic because I didn't like to read or write as a kid. And I think that was because most of the books that I was exposed to were boring textbooks. But I got measles when I was 8, and my grandmother bought me a chapter book called Bicycles North. It was a mystery on wheels. And I just was totally absorbed by that book. It just transported me. And that's when I realized that books could be fun. I didn't actually consider being a writer until I was in college. Yeah, I took a program that was short, journalism. I wanted to get out of college quickly. But it gave me the writing chops, and I was just deluged with story ideas constantly, just constantly scribbling down story ideas. And thought, wow, I got to get these published. Were
there any other books? I mean, there's always that moment, like you mentioned, with the book that really opens it up. But what were some of the other books as you got the bug and used it that you loved and that really opened you up and that maybe you revisit even today?
Oh, sure. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Lord of the Rings. Loved those books. And then when I was older, I got into history, so I loved David McCullough. One of my favorite books is John Adams by David McCullough. So I like all kinds of books.
So what was the first story that you really wrote where you felt like, I've arrived, this is what I need to do with my life?
Okay, so that's kind of two questions. The first story I ever wrote was called Crumbs on the Stairs, a mystery for kids. But the first one where I felt like I've arrived, probably She Doesn't Want the Worms. It was a Spanish-English bilingual book for kids, kind of a funny mystery. And Board Reviews called it one of the top 10 books of the year.
Talk to me a little bit about any other artistic, influencers out there, or role models or heroes who have been people that you've consistently looked up to and admired that have fueled you to be who you are.
Wow. Yeah, David McCullough, as far as his thoroughness in research and writing. Some of my college professors, a high school art teacher, people that inspired me, gave me confidence, and I just felt like I got a really good education. I felt that I was born at the right time because the education I got was top-notch, really quality people. Yeah, those are the people that influenced me there.
So If you can meet anybody on the planet right now that's alive and talk to them, who would it be? Who would you love to talk and meet?
Oh, wow. David McCullough just died. Darn it.
Yeah, I know. You said that, and I didn't. Yeah.
Let me think. I would be interested in speaking with world leaders. I guess someone in the Biden administration, if they were willing. Prime Minister of England, Benjamin Netanyahu, people that have to make tough decisions on a daily basis.
So, as a writer, you really have to kind of, there's a lot of motivation that comes just from that inner urge that you have. So every day you wake up, what pushes you? What makes you invent these storylines in these worlds? What makes you move?
Okay, so I get ambushed by story ideas constantly, and I'm scribbling them down. I have file folders full of ideas that I'll never even get to. And it's funny because people will learn that I've written a lot of children's books, and they'll say, oh, I've always wanted to write a children's book. And I'll say, well, tell me about your idea. And often they'll say, oh, I don't have one. And inside I think, well, you're not a writer, because I'm just bursting with ideas.
On the other end of that, at the end of a day, how do you quantify a good day? When you sit back in the easy chair and think about the day that you've had, what makes you say, that was a good day?
Oh, if I feel like I accomplished a lot. I'm a one-man publishing house. I distribute a couple of other authors, and so I have to do all the accounting and the marketing, and plus still have time to write and research my own projects. So yeah, if I can take care of the mundane tasks, the daily mundane things, and still have gotten some writing done, that's a good day.
So with the same third graders that you were talking to, if you could give them advice on how to write, how to pursue a life in writing, what would be the advice you would give them?
If they wanted to be a writer, I would say write every day, no matter what, even if it's just 5 minutes. Just be in the habit of sitting and writing, because if you do that every day, over time you'll get good. So
let's stay in this realm of youth, and I want to know, if you have a dream tonight and you run into the younger version of yourself, say in your 20s, and you could give that version of you a piece of advice based on what you've lived through, the wisdom that you've gained in your life, what would you tell your young version?
Oh, I would tell him that he's invaluable, that he's capable of amazing things, that it's just a matter of experience and learning that it can be done. When I was a kid, I had so many insecurities because I hadn't experienced much and hadn't tried things. So I would encourage kids to try as many things as they could, find out what they are passionate about, and just in trying, you gain experience, you gain skills, and you discover your strengths, and that you can do amazing things you never even dreamed possible.
So everyone out there has a perception or an idea of who they think you are. Your family, your friends, your readers, but ultimately you're in control of your life. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Oh, I think I'm a child of God. I think I am here to find personal satisfaction by lifting other people up, by helping people discover truths and empowerment. And that's why I feel like writing is my mission, because I have this great platform to share what I've learned with the masses.
So with this next question, there's nothing morbid about this, but I'm just curious, if you really kind of lean back in your life and think about your legacy, what do you hope you'll be remembered by?
That I cared about people, and actually my latest book, Abundant Paths, I feel like I think I was born to write this book. Learned through my own life experiences about the value of human relationships and how to make them work and last. And I hope it touches a lot of people.
What's been the best fan letter that you've ever gotten from anybody? Best response?
From a parent that wrote to say that their child heard me speak in a school one day and came home just out of his mind excited that he wanted to be a writer and knew what he wanted to do in life. He just felt inspired by what I had to share. I think that was probably the best thing I ever heard.
So, Karl, if anybody out there wants to get your books, learn more about you, anything related to your world, where's the best place for them to go?
PremioBooks.com. It's PREMIO books.com. Or Amazon or Target or Walmart.
Wonderful. Hey, Karl, thank you for opening up. Thank you for giving me kind of an insight to how these things make you tick. Have a great 2023, man.
Hey, you too. Thanks for the interview.
Thanks for tuning in to another famous interview with Joe Dimino, where we cover the world of art, literature, business, spirituality, music, and more from around the globe. If you want to hear more interviews, visit the Famous Interviews with Joe Dimino channel on YouTube. You can also find us on iTunes and Spotify. Thanks again for listening, and until next time.